Thanks for tuning into the BoshNRoll channel. Liking the video and subscribing to the channel are free and easy for you, and they help me out a lot. If you want to go further with your support, Patreon and YouTube membership offer access to the BoshNRoll Discord community, early access to lists, written content, things like that. You can have me play your deck on the channel, and the highest tiers come with individual coaching sessions. If you use YouTube membership, you also get sweet badges and emotes integrated here into YouTube. You can support the channel while you shop at tcgplayer.com by using my affiliate link in the video description, and you can play any deck anytime by using a cardhoarder.com loan account on Magic Online. If you want to wear your support, check out the merch store. And of course, thanks for being here. Now let's go play some Magic. Welcome back to the BoshNRoll channel. Today I have something a little special. Today I am playing a full Magic Online weekend challenge for Legacy rather than the normal 5-round league. This is brought to you by Patreon subscriber Spunky, who wanted to see this deck go through a more serious tournament. I will be in tryhard mode today. Comments in the past have reflected that a lot of people like when I'm trying hard with good decks rather than goofing around with brews. I enjoy doing both, so here's a tryhard video for those who enjoy that sort of thing. This deck is basically the 95 Bant 4-color. It's like Bant plus black Green Sun Zenith Yorion. This is a control deck that's been doing well lately. It won a challenge, it won an in-person event, or something similar to it, won an in-person event for the NRG series. And it's just been really popular. I actually have this in the recording queue 3 times from various people over the next month and a half or so. So if you like this deck, stick around. You're going to see it more. Spunky added a little extra stipulation to the base list. The base list is Bant with a black splash. Spunky also wanted red cards in the deck. Wanted to go full 5-color control, see if it could be done. And I think it can be done, and I think it can be done pretty smoothly. Basically, I replaced one of the 2 basic islands with Volcanic Island, and I replaced something with Ketria Triome. I forget what it was. I think the deck might have had 1 Preordain originally, and that just became Ketria Triome. And then I found room for 2 expressive iterations, because that's the best red card you could be casting right now in a deck like this. I mean, Ragavan is not supported in a deck like this. DRC is not supported in a deck like this. Expressive iteration is a very much a control card. So I got 2 of those in the main, then 2 red blasts in the sideboard. I cut one of the Carpet of Flowers and the Veil of Summer for the 2 red blasts. We'll see how that goes. That's the change I made. The core of the deck is based around Green Sun Zenith. We are pretty much a Bant control deck. Like, all the normal things are here. We got Prismatic Ending, Swords to Plowshares, Brainstorm, Ponder, Loam, Library, Icefang Coatl, 6 Forces, Uro, Endurance, all the things you'd expect. And then peppered amongst those things are 4 Green Sun Zenith, and a bunch of sweet green creatures to get with Zenith. So on 0, we could get Dryad Arbor, just a ramp spell on turn 1. Turn 2, we can get Birds of Paradise for some fixing, which is going to be important to this deck. You can always Coatl for a cantrip. Ramunap Excavator can get a waste lock going, or just get you out of a waste lock. Endurance for Graveyard Hate. Grist for Planeswalker removal or creatures. Like, Grist is great on a close board, and it's great on an empty board. And if you just really need to kill something, you can Zenith for a removal spell, basically. Leovold's been ruining control mirrors ever since it was printed. Really great card there. Knight of Autumn for some life gain or a disenchant. You can Zenith for Uro, just get that going. And the top end, the Primeval Titan. I love that this deck has 1 Primeval Titan in it to Zenith for when you're ready. That gets Field of the Dead and whatever else you need to start winning with Field of the Dead. There's a fun of 1 of Plague Engineer in the main deck. You can't Zenith for this because it's not green, but it's in the deck somewhere if you want to cantrip and dig for it. It is nice having that out against the decks you need that out against. Then there's the second one in the sideboard to double your chances. And tying the room all together is Abundant Growth. This is a sweet card. ETB, draw a card, enchant a land. Enchanted land taps for any color. That's really important for this 4-color mana base that I've now stretched to 5 colors. And it gives you support for your Yorion companion. If you have an Abundant Growth or 2 laying around, Yorion just becomes draw an extra card or divination tacked onto the 4/5 body, in addition to whatever material you have laying around, like blinking coatls or resetting grist, getting another trigger out of endurance, Night of Autumn, Uro, Primetime. It's a pretty light Yorion build, all things considered. Like, as far as how far you could push Yorion and how much blinking synergy you can get, this is really thin, but it doesn't have to be that much. We're playing all these cards anyway. Yorion is a free 4/5 that just appears out of the thin air into your hand. That's already card advantage. If it even draws one card on the way through as well, yeah, you're in good shape. That is the list for today. We're going to see 6 to 8 rounds with it, and let's see how it does. We're on the draw in round 1. We're playing 7 rounds today, and I'm going to keep this hand. My opponent only has 1 legacy finish on Magic on Google, and it's with Golgari Depths from a week ago. Looks like we might still be live for that. Crop rotating aggressively on turn 1. I have the Swords to Plowshares if they go for just a preposterously fast Merit Lage. Like if they go Petal, Hexmage right now, I actually am ready with a Plow. But I don't know if they would make that play. Okay, Force of Negation would have been nice last turn, but whatever. Just ponder here. Backup Plow is hot. I'm going to hide that one on top, I think. Take the land. So now if they discard Spell me, I still have Swords to Plowshares. Stage. I'm going to play the Misty Rainforest because it's still... That one doesn't give away I'm a white deck. Force, ending. Okay. I'm going to take one of these forces and then shuffle away these other cards. Now I have double Plow with Force backup for this Merit Lage. They are 1 Spirit Guide away from making Merit Lage this turn. I gotta watch out for that. I'm gonna grab this Tundra now. That gives up the goat that we're a white deck. Okay, this is interesting. I can develop Abundant Growth this turn. They are sometimes a Wasteland deck, which means I probably want to fetch Basic Forest. I'll get Basic Forest, and then put Abundant Growth on it this turn. I do like drawing cards. I'm going to save that other Abundant Growth for next turn. I'm not tapping out of my double Plow when they're showing me an easy Merit Lage. With the land drop, Merit Lage is now face up on the table. It just depends on how protective they want to be with it. If they've been slow rolling a Mountain of Discard right now. Okay, Hexmage is in play. Prismatic Vista. I'm going to fetch with this. Get a Snow Island. And then put another Abundant Growth on that. Ooh, is it time for the 3rd Abundant Growth? I don't actually have 3 mana worth of things to do. Okay, yeah, Abundant Growth. The Tundra also. My growth is so abundant. Shockingly abundant. I can't library this turn. I can library next turn. They can just peck at me with Vampire Hexmage and threaten Merit Lage in the background, which is probably their plan for a while here. I'm a blue-white deck with 7 cards in hand. They can't just make Merit Lage here. In response to Thoughtseize, what do I want to do? I can let this resolve, and they take one of the plows. I could Plow Hexmage in response, see how they respond to that, and then maybe force the Thoughtseize. But also just let this happen. I'm going to exile Hexmage in response, and then force the Thoughtseize. If they had made Merit Lage in response, I would have plowed the Merit Lage, but they just let it die, so I need to protect my plow with Thoughtseize. I got some choices here. I can play Sylvan Library, or I can put Yorion in my hand. And I think Sylvan Library is the play. So Yorion just straight up draws 3 and blocks Merit Lage starting next turn. But Library insulates against discard better. And I can't just slam Yorion into my hand because of Elvish Spirit Guide. If they have Not of This World, I'm gonna be dead. I get another turn to develop. Like, right now I'm just, clenching my cheeks, hoping that this Sylvan Library gets to activate at least once this game. Okay, they're going for it. It's Not of This World or bust. Please don't have it. Oh, they have they had a second Spirit Guide and crop rotation for Sajiri Step. That also does it. Okay, we're dead. Yeah, an Ice Fang Coatl to chump block for a turn would do it. All right. Yeah, they played that one pretty nicely. It's a shame that I drew those two forces after they went on that turn 1 crop rotation. That would have put them in the Stone Age. Okay. What do I want against this deck? Very little, honestly. They don't usually play Choke or anything for Force of Vigor. Flusterstorm can beat up on crop rotations and Not of This Worlds. I do like that one. Endurance is a blocker with reach, which I don't hate. Leovold's probably medium here. Grist does very little in this matchup. Uro is important. Uro can get me over 20 life. Just being at 21 also is a way to stabilize against this deck. I like all the forces. Excavator's phenomenal, obviously. It might just be an expressive iteration, or is it Primeval Titan? I think it's prime time. I don't think this game is going to come down to grinding out with Field of the Dead. I like the one Plague Engineer. You can name Vampire and take off one of their whole outs. Do I want the second Plague Engineer? Because they're going to have a bunch of Sylvan Safekeepers also. And name Elf. And maybe Knight of Autumn sucks. Okay, this is what I'm doing. Okay, I'm going to keep this hand with interaction and a cantrip. I mean, they're a discard deck, so I don't want to like go to 5 just to find a Swords to Plowshares and then just have it get discarded and then I have 5 cards. Obviously, I would prefer if this hand had more spells in it, but we'll work on that. Growth up a forest. The extra land, not exciting there. And here's the Inquisition. It can only take Prismatic Ending. They see that my hand is Force of Will and a bunch of lands. If they make Merit Lage right now, I'm living on the top of my deck. If they don't make Merit Lage right now, I can put Yorion in hand, which is a blue card for Force of Will. I hope they just play Hex Mage right now and pass the turn. This deck does have Karakas and 4 Wastelands in it. Any of those is just a banger. Duressing me. This one has to take the Force. So I have Plague Engineer still chilling. Saga. Wow. According to Google, their list does have one of those in it. But a spell deck. Alright, Uro is as good as it gets. Oh, I should not have played that Plains. That was bad. Because, oh wait, no, Uro brings a land drop with it. We're still good. Uro, finding another card, putting me over 20 life, getting a land drop. Ooh, Dried Arbor. Do I want that? That's susceptible to removal spells. Do they have removal spells? Is that even a thing they do? I guess I need both fetch lands, though, to get 5 lands, or 5 cards in the graveyard for Uro. So, fetch land it is. And Uro gets to show up a turn ahead of Saga popping. Lotus Petal and Pithing Needle are the only artifacts in the deck, according to Google. They do have a Bajuka Bog if they want to rotate into that. But rotating for Bog is a rotation they won't have for a combo piece. They could also Sylvan Scrying for Bog, but like any of those things that they do is a step away from comboing. Yep, Sylvan Scrying, here it is. I expect a Bajuka Bog here. Yep. They bogged. Medium disappointing. Not the biggest deal. I'm going to fetch for Ketria Triome. It's just the land that ETB's tapped in this deck and immediately rewarded. Red-blue. Expressive Iteration. Okay. I'm going to put Plague Engineer in my hand. Tropical Island on the bottom. Exile Wasteland. And I'm going to play Wasteland. They're going to get Pithing Needle with this Urza Saga, so I could waste Saga, but it's dead anyway. I'm going to waste the Bayou. Wasting Bayou means they don't get to make a construct on the way out. Their Saga's popping this turn. They're floating mana because they can't do anything else with it. I don't like their 6 cards in hand. It is nice to sneak that Wasteland in before the Needle, but they named Karakas with that. That's concerning. They just saw Wasteland and they're like, yeah, Karakas. I think this is as good a turn event as any to get Dried Arbor into play. Arbor, and then Engineer. They've seen this. They saw it years ago. I'm going to name Vampire on this one. And then if they come up with a Sylvan Safekeeper, I can name Elf. And then after the Engineer's in play, I can plow the Merit Lage. Nope. Now I can't plow Merit Lage. I really am going to try to avoid cracking this fetch land for as long as I can, because being at 21 is just an entire turn on this game that I still get access to. Yuck. Didn't need another land there. I'm going to put Yorion in my hand, play the Prismatic Vista they know about, and attack for 3. They can't Hex Mage, they can stage. Yorion is a blocker. There's the stage. Oh, Prismatic Vista is a swamp right now. That's so good for me. There's Caracas. Thanks for showing up. Their Needle paid off for them. Okay, I'm going to play Caracas as a land. And then white, white, blue, black, whatever. Yorion, Flicker, Abundant Growth, and Plague Engineer. I'm going to reset Plague Engineer on Elf. Oh, whoops. Glad I checked. Sylvan Safekeeper is a human wizard. Never mind. Glad I didn't say Elf. My god. Another land. For nothing. Deck. Oh, Prismatic Ending goes off here because it removes Needle and unlocks Caracas. I can take 20, go to 1. I can chump with Yorion for a turn. I have some options. I just extracted my Swords to Plowshares. They know my hand is blanks right now. This would be a great spot to Zenith for the Knight of Autumn that's not in my deck. Here comes Merit Lage. And I am going to chump with Yorion immediately. Like, I don't want to go to 1 and then next turn just get Sajiri stepped straight into the Abyss. If I soak up the 20 with a chump block first, then Sajiri step is Irrel on the following turn. They have Yavimaya. That sucks. That turns on Crop Rotation. Flusterstorm, not helpful. I'm going to play the other Plague Engineer on Vampire again. You know, Flusterstorm is at least good if I draw an out to Merit Lage or to Pithing Needle. Flusterstorm can protect me from Crop Rotation, but we are in trouble here. Once Upon a Time. In like Ice Fang Coatl, Green Sun Zenith, Brainstorm, Ponder. Like, there's so many draws in this deck right now. Okay, they just Once Upon a Time for Sajiri step. That's in their hand, so that takes Ice Fang Coatl out as a draw that protects me for a turn. Their list only has 1 Sajiri step in it. I go to 1 here. Come on, deck, help me out. It's time. There's so many good cards right now. That's not one of them. Damn. Okay. Well, we're dead. This Pithing Needle on Caracas showed up strong. Even though I play 4 Wasteland and only 1 Caracas, I drew this one instead of this one. A lot of lands here. They did a good job maneuvering through with their Sajiri steps and Duresses and stuff, so I'm dead. Tough start. We're on the play in round 2. There are no results on Google for my opponent, so we're totally in the blind here. This hand, this is a keeper. I can get the Dryad Arbor on turn 1, or I could Ponder on 1 and wait. Apparently I'm on the draw. I thought I won the die roll. Whoops. Luckily that doesn't affect how keepable this hand is. Actually might make it better. Oh, basic Island Go from the opponent. Now that I've found this extra mana source, I think I just want to Ponder. Save this Zenith for bigger fish now that I don't need to ramp quite so hard. Oh wow. Iteration Zenith Primetime. These are all good cards. I'm going to put Iteration in my hand as a blue card for Force in case I need that, and then I'll draw Zenith next turn. I can Zenith for Birds of Paradise, and ramp and fix my colors into an Expressive Iteration turn after that. Oh, we're playing it Show and Tell. Cool. There's only one, or I guess this could be some sort of Urza, Artifact, whatever deck. Is there... I'm just thinking about the Primeval Titan on top of my deck. I could Expressive Iteration instead of Zenith right now, which would result in Primetime being in my hand, and Show and Tell resolves, I get Caracas and something else. That's not going to beat Grizzlebrand. It would beat Emrakul. It's not going to beat Omniscience. Right, I'm going to Zenith for Birds of Paradise. If they counter this, okay, they didn't. I went with the non-fetch land because if they counter this, then I actually do want Primeval Titan on top of the deck to draw for, now that I know we're getting show and tell. That's one of my most exciting things I can show or tell. Impulse, that confirms this is show and tell. It also confirms Omniscience is in the deck, because Impulse is not a card you just play if you're not an Omniscience deck. I imagine this matchup is horrendous, and this might be a quick exit from the tournament, or at least from top 8 contention. But I'm going to do my best here. The Red Blasts are very good in this matchup, so that splash hopefully paying off already. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. Brainstorm is great. Expressive Iteration is also great. Let me just check the Zenith package. I can Zenith for 3 this turn. Excavator, Endurance, Grist, Leovold. Leovold's actually really exciting. That makes Grizzlebrand really bad. Also makes all the cantrips really bad. And I still have Force backup. Yeah, I'm going for Leovold right now. I think Tundra is the land that I want to get. Zenith for 3 is on the stack. If they counter this, then that's a counter spell they don't have for fighting over show and tell. I'm just going to take the 2-for-1 there. They pitched Omniscience to make that happen. I'm really worried about this Prismatic Vista, because if they're blue-green and they just Veil of Summer me there, I'm in the garbage. They're brainstorming again. Like, there's worlds where I force back and then Leovold just wins the game. There's also worlds where I force back, I get Leovold, then they cast show and tell on their turn, and it doesn't matter. Okay, they're the blue-white version. So Teferi is a card we're going to have to play through at some point. Show and tell, force, pitching, Brainstorm. I think Expressive Iteration is better than Brainstorm in this spot. Yeah, and then they force me back. They have 1 card left. What is it? I have nothing I can put in. It's Emrakul. So we have Caracas in the deck. We can iterate to try to find it. Red, blue. Is that the best way to tap my blue? And Birds of Paradise helps tie the room together. Okay, iteration. Triple Zenith. Okay, that's not helpful. Okay, I'm gonna Zenith for 0. I'm gonna put Dryad Arbor into play. I have to sack it anyway, but I don't want to draw that card. Basically, my plan here is to top deck Caracas right now. I got a 1 in 65 shot. Okay, all my permanents are gone. Time to top deck Caracas. Nope. Okay. And we're dead. Like I said, this is what the red blasts are for. Them being blue-white means I don't need Hydroblast. Flusterstorm is very good. Canonist is probably good. Force of Vigor. If they win a fight over show and tell and Omniscience comes into play, I could kill the Omniscience before they kill me with it. It's a possibility. Might want Carpet, depend on how many cards I'm cutting. Plague Engineer gets cut. Swords to Plowshare is real bad. Prismatic Ending. They do have Teferis that I should respect with the Prismatic Ending. Night of Autumn is great. That's something I can put in and snipe a Caracas, or snipe a Omniscience with. Leovold's good. Burrow's good. Endurance doesn't specifically do anything, but it is a flash threat. Primeval Titan. I actually win that game if I just have Primeval Titan in my hand. Because the show and tell resolves, Primetime comes in, gets Caracas, and then the game is over, and I'm ranching with Primetime. Maybe once I identified that they're show and tell, I should have prioritized putting Primetime in hand. But they had to force twice, pitching 2 Omnisciences, and if I had less resistance, then one of those Omnisciences would be in play, and the Primetime wouldn't matter. So that's actually kind of close. I don't think I want Endurance. This isn't really a loam matchup either. Library's fine. You don't want to draw it after turn 2, but if you do get it into play on a stable board, it's very good. I'll shave 1 Prismatic Ending and maybe 1 Uro. And Uro's pretty slow, and the life points don't really matter in this matchup. This is what I'm going to do. And I'm actually on the play this time. I'm going to keep this hand. It needs another land, but it has so many cantrips. Ponder, looking for land drops. 2 lands, Prismatic Ending. That's a pretty good Ponder. They have Preordained to kick it off. They bottomed both. Love to see it. I think this is a pass the turn with Flusterstorm up situation. I can Brainstorm in the end step, use Windswept. Like, if they don't do anything, I can Brainstorm, use Windswept Teeth to get Ketria Triome. Then I have Blue-Red available, which casts my Expressive Iteration. A Ponder. This deck we're playing is way too slow to, like, Flusterstorm a Ponder. Delver decks can do that because they're punching for damage. Like, countering Ponder is also good for, like, 2 to 6 damage or whatever. But this deck, I fluster their Ponder, and then they just, like, wait a couple turns and don't care either. I don't think... I mean, Wasteland is really good if they're on Boseiju. Guess the question is, do I think I need Prismatic Ending or Wasteland more? Because I want to get rid of one of these. If they just stick to Fairy next turn, I'm in trouble. Right, I'm going to put back the Wasteland in one of the endings and fetch the Ketria Triumph. Burrow, that's a good one. I have some choices. I can slam Expressive Iteration, see what happens. I can Zenith for Birds of Paradise and leave up Flusterstorm. I think that's probably the play. I'm going to leave up Ketria Triumph so they can think about Red Blast. So this land, this fetch probably gets Bayou to set up all my colors. So do I even need black in this matchup? I don't think I have a single black card in the deck. Oh, there's Grist. And Leovold. Okay, yeah. I don't have white, though. Yeah, white is more important. Because I have the Prismatic Ending, Illarsworn Canonist. I guess those are the only things. Like, I have Ending in hand that I literally kept here with the intention of casting it. And I'm Zenithing for Bird anyway. Okay, I'm going to get the Savannah, and then Zenith for Bird. And that fixes my colors and ramps me for next turn so I can Expressive Iteration with mana left to still do stuff. Another Ponder. They shuffled that Ponder. Ancient Tomb is here. Getting serious. Okay, Canonist I like. Red, blue, Expressive Iteration. Looking for a land drop off of this. Didn't get one. Did find Carpet, though, which is kind of like a land drop. Force of Negation in my hand. Brainstorm on the bottom. Carpet in exile. Play Carpet. And I think I'm willing to tap out of Flusterstorm to get this Canonist into play. So Carpet, yes. Make white. Canonist. Just snap resolved. I like that. Force and Flusterstorm both just got a lot better. They're just going to clean up. Wow. Ugly. And they conceded. Yeah, they were just about to go to clean up and then conceded. Game 3. I don't think anything changes play draw. I think all the good cards that I have are already in the deck. Endurance as a flash threat is like the one card that I kind of wish I had room for, but I don't think I actually do. I hate these Prismatic Endings. I don't want them in the deck, but Teferi is just such a beating if it resolves. And Teferi is the reason to be white. So they have it. I have Pyroblast, and I have creatures that can threaten Teferi if I have a creature start. Okay, I'm going to shave one ending, bring in one endurance. Just trying to min-max here of what's the minimum number of answers to Teferi I'm allowed to play while still respecting the card. And this is what I'm going to end up with. This hand is medium yikes, but I'm going to keep it. It does need to find the second colored source between 2 draw steps and a Brainstorm. If I can start cowaddling, I'll feel pretty good. Okay, that's actually great. I can fetch Tropical Island and Zenith for Dryad Arbor. Because I need the blue source. It needs to be blue for next turn and green for this turn, so Tropical Island is the answer. Dryad Arbor in. Alright, cool. Zenith has been an effective ramp spell in all of the games so far. Brainstorm. The land. Okay. Sylvan Library. That's got to be better than Coatl, right? Yeah, Field of the Dead, Sylvan Library. This is the only world. Like, turn 2 is the only time of the game where this card is worth slamming. Gotta hope they don't have a turn 3 show and tell with protection. Yes. And if they do, I hope Sylvan Library can punch through it. Alright, yes. Main phase Impulse. That's good. Library's gonna ride. Found an Ancient Tomb for their land drop. Red Elemental Blast. All right, can I find a land that casts that card? Because that is a very good card. A Carpet. I am just keeping all of this. A4, A4, and Carpet is good for 2 mana. I guess I just make blue and cast Brainstorm, see what happens. Yes, make blue, cast Brainstorm. Okay, found a red source. Good news. Prismatic Ending can eat a D, and Basic Plains can also eat a D. I don't want those cards on top of my deck, so I am going to fetch for Volcanic Island, blue-green, Icefang Coatl, use my floating mana while I can. Now I have Force plus Red Blast going into this next turn. Hope that's enough. Ponder, still not in any sort of position to Red Blast a Ponder. They have win the game spells in their deck, and they have the mana to cast them even without this Ponder resolving, and they're not literally dead on board, so not taking that bait. Worm's Chant. I feel like this is bait, but I can't afford to not respect it. I'm pretty sure they just got a free Thoughtseize off of me, but if they do go land show and tell, I can't take that risk. Okay, they did have it. Let's see if this holds. Okay, cool. That worked. Ponder, land, Icefang Coatl off of... I can't go to 1 because this is a fetch land. I can put Coatl on top, and you know, I can Ponder or Brainstorm my way into all these cards anyway. Okay, I'm going to put Flooded Strand on top, and I'll pay 4 to keep Ponder. Green, green, green. All right, yeah, make blue with Carpet. Make blue. I'm going to Coatl first. Do want that land on top of my deck. And then I'm going to Ponder. Okay, cool. I do have a white source. I could also Zenith. Can I do all of this? Can I get all of these cards in my hand and cast them? I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 mana available this turn. I can put Canonist into play and then draw Zenith next turn. Or I draw Zenith now, but I can't cast it till next turn. Oh, I have another land. I still have my land drop for the turn. That doesn't get me where I need to go, though. Blue, green, another Coatl. Zenith for 2 doesn't get me anywhere. Right, fetch a white source, cast... I think Tundra is as good as any. There's Canonist. And, okay. I mean, this is tenuous. It's not like I'm just good to go here. But I am pretty well set up. Impulse is their spell for the turn. Canonist does give you a lot of leverage. Wow, literally just conceded. Didn't find what they wanted off that Impulse. The Red Splash coming in clutch. Expressive Iteration and Red Elemental Blast both played important roles in this matchup. That was pretty nice. We're a few rounds into the video. Thanks for sticking with me. Friendly reminder that if you're still here and having fun, smash that subscribe button. And if you want to play what I'm playing, you can use my affiliate link for TCG Player to support the channel while you shop for cards, and you can try any deck anytime with a cardhoarder.com loan account for Magic Online. All these links are in the video description below. Now back to the league. We're on the draw in round 3. My opponent has one result on Google. It's from a week and a half ago, and it's a 5-0 with curses. This hand sucks in general, and it's extra bad against curses, though Knight of Autumn would have been nice to have, but easy mulligan. This one is a banger. This is exactly what you ask for. I'm going to keep this and send the basic island to the bottom. The Force of Will means I don't have to respect Opposition Agent the way I normally would. Okay, so they have turn 0 Leyline and turn 1 Defense Grid. Defense Grid makes my life a little more difficult. But Force of Will, having 2 forces is nice. Defense Grid is not in their posted list, so they've made some changes. I'm going to pitch Brainstorm using Force of Negation, because Ponder can find specific things better. I think Tropical Island is the start, and I'm going to use Ponder. It's my only blue card, but we can deal with that as it comes. I think this is a shuffle. Okay, found another blue card. Yeah, the fact they lit on cities probably means they're here for a good time, not a long time. Okay, so they had a turn 2 Helm. A Force of Negation, that as well. They're down to 2 cards in their hand. I mean, turn 2 Helm with Defense Grid in between is a really strong start. Let's just hope there's not more gas in this tank. I'm not going to crack my fetch land because I do want to draw land, get this Uro rolling. Oh, that's tempting. I feel like Wasteland would end this game, but I also think that I can Wasteland next turn just as effectively. Oh, wait. Uro sucks. They have Leyline. I should just waste them. I was like so excited about this Uro, but it doesn't matter. I shouldn't have cracked this fetch. I don't think they can make black mana at instant speed to opposition agent me, but I don't want to find out. I need to get white mana into the mix here. I could use Uro just to draw a card while I have the... Yeah, I'm going to draw the card and hope I don't die. Okay, I pulled the card ahead. They could see the Wasteland now. Please don't kill me. Their posted list actually doesn't have any creatures at all, so there is no opposition agent in my near future. I'm going to get them with the Wasteland. There's some temptation to leave the city in play and waste whatever their next land is and just get 2 lands, because most of their spells cost 4 or 5. I'm quaddling now in case I hit my land drop. Ancient Tomb, yeah, that's the reason you would hold back your Wasteland. Blue again, another quaddle, looking for that land drop. Dramatic Ending, not currently helpful. Okay, they have 3 mana again. Trinisphere, that's rough. Solves. Gonna need that land. Had it, never didn't have it. Gonna get a red source for this iteration in my hand. End the 3-ball. White, green, red. Rid of that. Attack for 2. Hope we're not dead. Tabernacle. Fascinating. Oh no, Dark Ritual. This could be bad. I hope it's Curse and not Helm, because we literally just died at Helm. It is Curse. I have a chance here to spike an out to this. I'm not paying for these Coatls. That is not the game plan. Shit, what are my outs at this point? It's Night, but even that is pretty slow. Red, blue, iteration. Land Birds of Paradise is not the worst thing I've ever seen. Play the land, play the bird, and pass the turn. Probably dying real quick here. Here come the curses. They get Splendor first to make sure that my Zenith can't kill their original curse. Suspended Profane Tutor. Oh, I don't have to pay anymore with Tabernacle, apparently. But all my creatures are going to die next turn. What can I even do about this? Not much. I can cast Endurance, I suppose, but that's a 1/1 that just dies to Cursed Deathhold. Now I'm just looking for outs. Is there even an out? I can Prismatic Ending. Grist doesn't really have text. Yeah, like Prismatic Ending for 5 on Curse of Deathhold, I guess, is my out. Or they can just draw Helm. Yeah, I was dead anyway. That was rough. That defense grid really broke the game. The second force, not being able to use it on the curse when it mattered. Brutal. Okay, what's helpful here? Force of Vigor, basically best card on the entire planet. Prismatic Ending, really good. All the forces are great. The only spells in their deck for Flusterstorm are Profane Tutor and Dark Ritual. It's hard to fluster a Profane Tutor because it happens on 0 mana in the upkeep. Flustering Dark Ritual matters a lot if it matters at all, but I don't think that's the fight I'm trying to fight. They don't have any creatures, so Plague Engineer is bad. Seeds of Innocence. Yeah, they have Chalice, Chrome Mox, and Snaring Bridge, Trinisphere, Helm. Yeah. Seeds is great. Seeds are coming in. They have no red cards. Canonist doesn't matter. Plague Engineer is coming out. They don't have creatures either. Well, that's the same reason Plague Engineer is bad. There's literally not a single creature in the posted list, so I should find something better than Swords to Plowshares. Collector Oof. They are a Chrome Mox deck. Oh, and the Helm. It turns off Helm. All right, that's good. And they just have Endurance as a body. Also as a green card to pitch to Force of Vigor. I think this is as good as it's getting. Let's do it. This hand is pretty great. I'm going to keep it. They had Leyline in their opening 7 again. Going to get Basic Forest and growth it up. Oh wait, Birds of Paradise is better than Abundant Growth on turn 1. I just was about to autopilot the Abundant Growth, but Birds of Paradise is literally also that, but ramps instead of just draws a card. This is an interesting predicament. I can hold up Hardcast Force of Negation. That's what I'm going to do. This isn't really a predicament at all. That's just easily the play. Okay, they tricked me by just not doing anything. Gonna fetch Triome. Come on, land. Oh, sick. Well, feels dirty, but I don't care. I'm not too proud. Do I want to Abundant Growth? If they cast anything, well, they didn't cast anything last turn, and I just took out their land. I'm going to invest in success here. Did he? Okay, cool. Getting away with it. Found another land. And here comes Grist. At this point, getting on the board is worth tapping out. I can start holding up Force of Negation again next turn, but I have Force of Will in the meantime. I don't care about Defense Grid. I can easily pay for it on future turns. Dark Ritual. Thoughtseize. Yeah, good luck with that. I'm rolled up. They took the prime time. They realized they couldn't beat the counter spells anyway, so just took the Primeval Titan, the thing that's going to kill them. That makes sense. Leaving Force of Negation in my hand because that's cheaper to hardcast, and they don't have any creatures. Make another insect. Guess I should pay attention to what I'm milling, just in case it comes up with Zenith later. Fatal Push. I don't care about that. Still have double blue. Still making land drops. Still activating Grist. We're pushing for damage. They're playing on 1 land. Now they have 2 lands. One of them's Urborg, so that helps me out a little. Prismatic Vista is in play. Means I can put Yorion in my hand and still leave up Force. Sudden Edict, you got me. Back with my creatures. Sudden Edict is not something I was worried about. Make another insect, build a wasteland. Another Sudden Edict, killing another insect. Deal. Oh yeah, now we're in the field in a big way too. Just all the way in on field. That's why I didn't crack the Prismatic Vista last turn, because I was investing in the future of having a ton of Zombos. Grist's ultimate doesn't work here because I don't have a graveyard. But they are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Not quite dead on board. If they tap that Ancient Tomb, they lose. Do have that covered. I guess that's not even really accurate because they have Urborg. I guess there's things they could do that don't kill them with Ancient Tomb. They're at 2. Does Yorion do anything? It draws a card off Abundant Growth. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3. Barakas makes another zombie. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, just double counting, making sure that I can cast Yorion and still have Force up. And it's true that I can. Getting the redraw with Abundant Growth is nice. This is what I was talking about in the deck tech, where Yorion doesn't have to be mega sexy. It's just a free 4/5 that also draws a card sometimes. So they have to get through Force of Negation without tapping an Ancient Tomb this turn. And they tapped Ancient Tomb for style points. Okay, got through that one. Survived the opening wave. Now we have to win a game on the draw. Don't believe the sideboard changes. In Canonist, turns off Dark Ritual as like a play they can make, but that's not even true. Dark Ritual into Helm is still a play they can make because that's an artifact. Nah, Canonist sucks. But it's more likely that I'm going to need to cantrip into some action than that they're going to get bricked by having 2 spells in a turn. Yeah, this is my deck. Gonna have to mulligan this hand. It just doesn't interact on turn 1 at all. Opponent kept 7 again. This is not great. What does this do? Nothing. All again. Jesus deck. All right. I'll keep this one because Wasteland is really effective against their deck. I think Burrow and Basic Forest go to the bottom. And I just have to hope that they don't stone brick me on turn 1. Like, let's hope that the Wasteland actually is effective. Land, go. Their list doesn't have Opposition Agent, but I am worried about fetching into this open black. Void Walker. Okay. I'm gonna get Ketria Triome, get my colors set up here. I wish this prismatic ending mattered at all, but it doesn't. I don't know if I need black or white yet, but Leovold is all of those colors. So I'm just gonna pick white and get Tundra. Yeah. I gotta go in on Sylvan Library this turn and just hope I'm not dead. They've played this whole game on basic lands, which is kind of weird. It plays around Wasteland, but it also like makes their deck real slow. Another Voidwalker. Okay. They've just pivoted onto this beatdown plan. Okay, these are the 3 cards. If I play Wasteland, I can Abundant Growth Wasteland and have another colored source. And that can draw me into... I can Prismatic Ending... I think I'm putting Ponder on top. If I pay 4, I go to 11. I'm killing one of these Voidwalkers now. And then the other puts me to 8. I need to find another removal spell before I'm dead. Or a way to gain some life. Yeah, I'm going to keep the Force of Vigor. Then I'm going to play Wasteland. Abundant Growth, the Wasteland. Which is going to feel bad eventually when I have to waste something. But it feels pretty good now. And then exile one of these. White, blue, Prismatic Ending. Then I have Force of Vigor. So I can't... Oh, wait. Nope, I can totally still die. I was about to say I can't die to Helm this turn, but I can because they have 2 void effects. Defense Grid's very strong. They attack me to 8. I'm looking at 3 fresh cards, plus I have Ponder and or Expressive Iteration. Zenith. Zenith, are you good? I can Zenith for the... Can I Zenith for? Zenith for Grist doesn't kill anything. Zenith for Night can remove the ley line. A Grist just being unhelpful really sucks here. How do I get this Voidwalker out of play? Maybe it's Zenith for Grist. Put on top, pay 4 life. I go to 1. It's Zenith for Grist this turn. Or it's cast Leovold this turn, and then Zenith for Grist next turn. Yeah, I could just play Leo here. I could hardcast Force of Vigor here too. Yeah, I could not pay any life, put Zenith on top, hardcast Force of Vigor, take out the leyline and the defense grid, and then next turn dig for an answer to Voidwalker. I think that's as good as this is getting. And I just have to hope they don't YOLO slam the Helm. But I hope they don't have it, I guess. And then also I hope they don't cast it. There's a lot of hope involved here. Another defense grid. Okay. That only matters if I can't kill the Voidwalker. They're almost out of leyline effects right now. Okay. Oh shit. I can't fetch to 1. Can I get all these cards in my hand? All right. I don't need Abundant Growth. Put that on top. If I... No, I'm going to be 1 mana short, no matter how I slice this. I was thinking I can tutor, fetch Dryad Arbor, and then Grist, sack Dryad Arbor, kill the Voidwalker, and that does work, but... Oh, that gets blown out by Sudden Edict. Not interested in that. Okay, put this on top, the land. So Zenith is in my hand. I can Ponder, or I can Zenith. Like, I can Zenith for Night and just gain some life. But holding the Zenith for... Yeah, holding the Zenith for Night, if they jam a curse this turn, like, I really want to remove this. All right. I'm gonna... How can I spend my mana here? That makes sense. Iteration will hit a land, guaranteed. All right, I'm gonna start with Iteration. Blue, red. Blue, red. So I'm going to exile the land, put Ponder in hand, Growth on the bottom, exile land, play the land. I can fetch and cast Leovold right now. I could also Ponder right now. Ponder needs to hit, or I have 2 Ponders, but only one of them actually taps for a meaningful. Okay, I'm going to Ponder. We're looking for Prismatic Ending. Those are not it. That's a shuffle. Prismatic Vista, that's half of what I wanted. Okay, I'm going to fetch to 1 effectively with the creature over there. There's not another Tundra in the deck, so I'm going to get, it has to be a blue source for Ponder. I'll get Tropical Island, Ponder again. Oh shit, I should have Zenithed for Collector Oof, damn it. I've made mistakes. Well, there's the Prismatic Ending. I can't Force of Will or fetch. Okay, don't shuffle this. I guess I should have put Ending in hand and then Zenith for Dryad Arbor. Just gotta hope I don't die this turn. Fuck. Yeah. Ugh, I forgot about Zenith for Oof. I'm such a dingus. Yeah, Zenith for Oof. Make sure I don't die this turn. There's a lot going on with this deck. I just threw this one in the fucking trash. Tilt. We're dead for top 8 because I played bad. This is why you need to get reps with your deck. But, okay. I couldn't force anyway. Yeah, Zenith for Oop was the line there, and then do all the cantripping next turn to try to stabilize at 1 against the Voidwalker. Fuck my life. That last round was tough. I tunnel visioned on removing the leyline effects when I could have removed the helm effect and effectively removed all the ley lines. I still had to respect the 3/2 bodies on the Voidwalkers, but yeah, I forgot there were 2 pieces of that puzzle and it cost me. Anyway, here's round 4. There's still a bunch of Magic to play today. I'm on the play for real this time against an opponent who has a bunch of recently posted lists with various Jeskai Ragavan decks. This hand, I like the Karakas versus Ragavan, but I can't cast any spells, so I have to mulligan this. This one's better. I'm going to keep this and send my basic forest to the bottom. These Jeskai decks usually play 0 basics, and they're usually Urza Saga decks. Looking at my opponent's posted lists, they actually don't have Saga in any of the lists they've played recently. And one of them is actually Jeskai Control with Monastery Mentors. So we could be in for a grind fest here. Gotta start watching the clock immediately. Where I'm already a minute behind because I was still talking about last round. No worries. Balding Tarn, you got it. Play from the Loam. That's a good card. I could just fetch, cast Loam. I think I'd rather wait. Like holding up Swords to Plowshares, playing around Days for a dashed Ragavan. I like that play. I can Loam anytime. Gonna have to look for signals that tell me more about their list because, okay, Basic Mountain's actually a pretty big signal. I think I want to fetch, cast Leovold here. Or, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, Basic Island, or do I want Forest here? Their Jeskai Control list, which does include Basic Mountain in the main deck, doesn't have Days, so they would have to Force of Will Leovold. It's a 2-for-1 either way. Either it resolves and they kill it and I draw a card, or it doesn't resolve and they have to force it. I think I actually want Basic Forest off of this. Forest, because this one has to fetch Bayou to cast the spell. A little awkward because I lose my white mana, but that's not really the plan here. Behold, here's Leovold. They're fetching in response. There's no main deck Pyroblast in this posted list anyway. Right, Leo resolved. And Swords to Plowshares, I get to draw my card. That is the exchange we signed up for. Prismatic Ending's a good draw. That hits Mentor or various Planeswalkers. They have Narset and Teferi in their posted list. Oh shit. Well, that's really bad. This is the BoshNRoll channel. We don't lose to Back to Basics. We can help it. All right, I can work through Back to Basics with the Loam if I get time to do so. If they just slam Mentor with Force back up here, I'm in some trouble. Yeah, okay. Very immediately drew a card. I'm not going to dredge Loam, not yet. Oh, dope. I like Zenith. I can fetch for basic island here. And then Zenith for Birds of Paradise. Are trying to dig ahead of this. And they minus their Teferi to draw a card last turn. And they have a bunch of 1/1 answers for Bird, but I'm going to make them have them. Next turn, I can Prismatic Ending the Teferi. I think I'm more worried about that one. I can deal with Back to Basics or ignore it as needed. Yeah, there's 2 Dress Down 2 Back to Basics in their posted list. So that is probably what we're dealing with here. Still not going to Dredge Loam. Have a basic Plains I can fetch. And the Fairy. That just snap resolved. Not even bluffing. Narset, real good. Usually. Force of Will, that's a good one. Still not Dredging Loam. Wasteland's not really what I'm in the market for here. The Force is tough. I think I do have to go after Back to Basics this time. It's gonna suck if they have another one. Spent their Force pitching Brainstorm on that. Okay. Narset found Ponder, cast Ponder. The Zenith breaks the Back to Basics. I have 2 more Prismatic Endings in the deck. I can still Swords to Plowshares a Monastery Mentor. There it is. And they Ponder right away. So jealous of their Monastery Mentor right now. Did not shuffle. Still not Dredging Loam. Plow the Mentor. If they have Force right now, I don't think we can win. They had it. Pitching a backup Narset. And Uro doesn't even matter. I can Dredge... Oh, I should have put Yorion. No, I shouldn't, because that loses my land. I can Dredge Loam next turn, and then I still have a draw that I can use for Uro. Don't think I can beat this. My Black Source being tapped is really the troublesome spot here. No attack with Mentor. Okay, they're respecting Icefang Quaddle. I like that. If I Dredge Loam, that doesn't count as my draw for Narset. There is a second basic forest in the deck. So I can loam these 3 lands. Green, white, fetch basic forest. Spend a wasteland to get Uro into action here. Not going to Dredge Loam, I'm going to draw my card. Abundant Growth is a good one. That lets me cast Grist next turn, but I don't think that's super helpful. We're pretty far under the gun right now, but I can cast Uro. And the Loam is letting me manipulate the Narset quite a bit. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. A spell makes 10, a second spell makes 14. If they can cast 3 spells this turn, they win. But I hope that doesn't happen. Snapcaster, well, that's 1. Well, yeah, they get the Ponder. The Ponder is 1. And, like, cascading cantrips here is really how they do this. Because not only, even if they don't string it all together this turn, next turn, having this many monks in play, even just like a crunch for 14 here, sets them up for next turn. And then they just brainstormed. If they can find a Swords to Plowshares for one of their random creatures that can't attack, that's all it takes here. Or just land Ponder. Oh, they're cracking a fetch land. So yeah, Preordain. That's lethal. The Monastery Mentor is so good. And maybe I'm supposed to go after Back to Basics with the first thing. And now I'm at 1, so I can't even fetch to cast this Uro. Okay. Yeah, maybe I overestimated Teferi and underestimated Back to Basics here. Like, Grist on this board changes the texture of the game a lot. Huh. Alright, willing to believe I messed that up. Carpet of Flowers, Clowns Back to Basics. This looks like a great matchup for Pyroblast. Ooh, their posted list has a Court of Grace in the sideboard. That's scary. I think I have to respect Back to Basics with at least 1 Force of Vigor. Probably not 2, because they don't have a lot of things for that. Their red cards include 4 Pyroblast, and that's basically it. They have 2 Meltdown, 3 Izzet Staticaster. And Staticaster might come in. Plague Engineer on Monk actually is a pretty big deal. I don't think I want all these forces in the deck. I mean, Hardcasting Force Negation is pretty tempting, especially on the play. That does line up against back to basics, but it doesn't counter Monastery Mentor, which is the really important card. Okay, they're bringing in 4 Pyroblast, so if I can make my deck less blue, that's going to help me. I do need counterspells still. I have the Red Blast. I could just go Zero Force. Do I want Fluster? But that doesn't fight over Planeswalkers. Can I do better than cutting all my forces? This is the preliminary plan. Swords to Plowshares might be worse than Force of Will. Okay, I'll leave 2 forces in, cut 2 plows. Plow doesn't line up great against Mentor. This is what I'm going to do. This hand looks great. I'm going to keep it. Just rock solid. No blue cards to get Pyroblasted. And I'm just going to go straight in on Dryad Arbor. Fetch the Bayou, Zenith for Arbor. If I can turn to a Grist here, that's actually really great. I've lost a lot of blue matchups in my life as the blue deck when my opponent just turned to a Grist. Let's hope for Ponder here and not Swords to Plowshares, but either one's actually fine. Okay, that land doesn't cast Swords to Plowshares. There's the Ponder. Goes to Shuffle. Good news. Oh, I drew the basic forest. That's so lucky. I was about to fetch that anyway. Now my hand can fetch Island and Plains, and Grist is getting to work. Just milled over my Ketria Triome. That rules, because if I find my Loam, I already have my Cycler at the ready. And milling over stuff with Grist, combos with Ramanap Excavator. I'm just ready to make land drops also. A top-bottomed Brainstorm. I can save that. I'm going to plus Grist. Milled another Brainstorm. I'm going to cast Ramanap Excavator. And play... I think I want to play the Heath from the graveyard, not the Ketria Triome, just because of respect for back to basics. We're going into turn 3. They play more than one of them. It's immediate card advantage. Like, Grist arrived, immediately made card advantage. Excavator arrived, immediately made card advantage. Like, we are... This is what this deck's supposed to do. Like, the Ramanap got exiled, but it doesn't matter because it's already +1 card. Slamming back to basics here is kind of funny because that locks Dryad Arbor and gives me basically a free thing to sack with Grist to kill a Planeswalker in the future. Yep, there it is. We're back. Abundant Growth, hell yeah. Okay, fetch basic Island. Cast Brainstorm. Ending is good. Carpet is very good. Do I just chuck the land? I think so. Could also leave one on top and Carpet into... Do I even care about that? I don't think that I do. But I'm going to fetch my basic plains. Basic plains. Cast Carpet. Plus Grist. Milled my bird. That's not there if I want to search for it later. We all got to remember that. And then second main, I can make a green with Carpet. Do Abundant Growth my plains. And bang. They're posted, up their posted list, the only sweeper is the Izzet Staticaster, which is actually insane against Grist. But they don't have a Terminus or anything like that. I am not going to use my Carpet in the first main. I'm going to attack Teferi with one of my insects and my opponent with the other. I can still sack Dryad Arbor second main if they commit a Swords to Plowshares here. I can also just cast Knight and kill their back to basics. Save the Uro for next turn. Attack Teferi for 1, attack opponent for 1. I doubt their deck has another basic plains, so if they want to Swords to Plowshares here, it's going to cost them a land forever off back to basics. Yeah, checking their list confirms there's 2 basic plains. Most of these blue-white decks can't afford to play 3 plains, because if you ever draw the third one, you just lose because all your spells are blue. Second main. I'm going to use Carpet's ability. Let's make white. White, green, colorless. Make my land for the turn, and Knight of Autumn. Destroy target artifact or enchantment. This one. Plus Grist. Build Force of Vigor. Okay, cool. I just did the thing that Force of Vigor was supposed to do anyway. There's 1 basic left in the deck. I should be sure to fetch it before I draw or mill any more cards. There's 5 basics in this stock list, but I caught one of them for Volcanic Island in this build. I'm gonna fetch now before I draw. I mean, there's 60 cards in the deck. It's low odds, but if you've ever seen me play Magic before, you know I'm gonna hit them. Could have Snapcaster here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I have enough mana to Uro and immediately escape Uro. I'm gonna attack with everything except Dryad Arbor. Bang. Snapcaster, you got it. Let's see if they want to fight my Dryad Arbor with this plow, or if they're trying to save damage in combat. All right, cool. Yeah, if they just took that 2 damage, that would stop me from playing Uro this turn. Yes, make blue, 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 green, blue, blue, green, green. Okay, yes, I'm all set to do this all at once. And the land from Uro. Uro dies. Green, green, blue, blue. Immediately escape Uro before they get priority. There he is. I'm leaving Ketria Triome and Bird of Paradise in my graveyard for Loam and Grist, respectively. Grist down. Okay, so I don't get the trigger, but I do get my 6/6. And I can still plus Grist. I have my land drop for the turn. Oh, right. Bayou doesn't cast Expressive Iteration, so that doesn't matter. Okay. Ship it. Narset, pretty strong. I have a lot of answers to that. I have Grist, I have Combat, and I have Prismatic Ending. Prismatic Ending. Okay. They didn't have the land drop to exile Uro right away. I like that. Chose to shuffle. Left up white. Carpet. Don't activate this yet. No. I am going to sack a creature to kill Narset before combat. I think drawing the card off Uro is worth more than the 1 damage the insect can do. Sacrifice the insect, destroy Narset. If they had plow the whole time, you got me. Good. Good job. Okay, they're just conceding. This attack would put them to 1. I'd have 4 cards in hand, plus Grist is lethal next turn. Endurance. They are a Snapcaster Mage deck. And they're a deck that tries to win by attacking. Maybe the second Endurance should be in here, just as a flash, non-blue flash body. You can go down to 1 Force of Will. Just playing 1 Force of Will in your 80-card deck seems so weird. But they don't have any spells that I'm just like, oh shit, I'm dead. Like Jace the Mind Sculptor is the closest thing. Mentor on a stable board hurts. Need to make sure the board isn't stable, I guess. Let's take on my role as the attacker in the matchup. Could go down to 1 plow. Could go to 0 plows, get another force in here on the draw. It's so bad once the game is up and running, though. Like, you kind of want it on exactly turn 3 and never again. Okay, yeah, I'll do it like this. 1 less plow, 1 more endurance. I should not die from a coast-to-coast Snapcaster beats with all the creatures in my deck. The things that Izzet Staticaster kills mostly generate card advantage on their way in. Okay, I'm going to keep this. Sounds really good. I get to go Basic Forest, Birds of Paradise, next turn, Abundant Growth, and Sylvan Library. Off to the races. And I get to do all of that on basic lands, and get all 5 colors set up twice. Even if they plow the bird, I can still slam back to basics on 2 basic lands next turn. They kicked it off with a basic Island Ponder, a respectable play no matter who you are. Did not shuffle. I drew the basic forest. I've been pretty good at doing that. Birds of Paradise in there. Fetched a Tundra for Swords to Plowshares. That's going to hurt them if they're still on a back to basics plan, which they might just not be on, frankly. Like they might have just gotten off of that. I'm going to use Prismatic Vista to get my basic island. Flooded Strand and can get Plains, and Windswept Heath can get Plains or Forest. Just gotta hope they don't follow up with Narset. And Teferi is annoying too. Okay, cool. Getting a 2-for-1 out of that there is a good deal. Brainstorm, that means there's not a 3-mana Planeswalker coming my way this turn. Next turn, I think I'm gonna Ponder, then fetch Plains, then Abundant Growth the Plains. Because Plains is the worst land in general. Oh, there it is. Well, I actually actively, truly didn't want to draw that one. Backup Sylvan Library? Okay. Do not shuffle my library. 1 more basic land in the deck. Let's get it. Alright. You got another force for this. They could have Teferi or Narset at this point. Yeah, Narset is the actual terrible one. This is my nightmare. It bricks the Sylvan Library, bricks the Abundant Growth, and now my hand is just empty. Okay, I mean, Expressive Iteration is one of the best draws I could hope for in the face of Narset. That's card advantage without drawing cards. Mentors here, okay. And Ponder right away. They're going to have 3 cards in their hand. One of them is Prismatic Ending. They still have Narset they can activate too. This is getting scary. If I were on the other side playing the Mentor deck, I would be just like very, very satisfied with the state of this game right now. I'm going to get Ketria Triome. That's the red source that comes into play tapped otherwise. Can't draw cards. Blue-red. Pyroblast in my hand. Force of Will on the bottom. Exile Uro. Oh shit, I don't have a blue source. Nope, still don't have a blue source. Damn. That's brutal. My life is pain. I guess Uro's just gone. I should have exiled Force of Will, I think. But having the Pyroblast in my hand is at least something I can point at the Narset. They have 2 spot removal spells in their hand. Snapcaster Mage. If I were them, I would have just held up Snapcaster Mage, Force of Negation, because like you're winning this game if Narset stays in play. I feel like this is pretty aggressive and greedy. And if they find back to basics right now, it's not going to matter. Ponder, Preordain. All right, they are just putting the pedal to the metal. So what I need to do here is... Oh my god. Okay. They're attacking for 9 right now. So I got a Pyroblast Narset in my upkeep, and then Sylvan Library gets to do its thing, and I gotta find Plague Engineer. And the 2 unknown cards in their hand can't be Force Blue card. Alright, that just happened. A Force of Will Brainstorm, not helpful here. Put on top, and I can't afford to pay life. Actually, am I dead anyway? I am extremely dead anyway. Like 4 and 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, 4 and 8 are the same number here. So I can keep the Brainstorm. Pay 4 life to keep Brainstorm. I'm going to start with Ponder, because that can shuffle stuff I don't want. Sucks that I'm drawing to a 2-outer. Then Abundant Growth, the Plains, and yeah, now I'm dead. Oh, well, that makes a lot of mana. And I still have a land drop. Carpet? Okay, I get 5 mana in my second main here. 5, 6. I can Zenith for up to 5. I have to make green with this. Make green. Let's look at the deck. I could get Uro, gain some life. That doesn't matter because I can't get it back into play. Could get Coatl, just try to draw a card and go again. I could get 2 Coatls, like block, and now I'm still dead, but I had to pay the 4. It's just Coatl, isn't it? Yeah, it's just Coatl. 1 draw step to rule them all. Plague Engineer. Brainstorm, not helpful. Yeah, I'm just dead on board now. I needed all these cards, but alright, yeah, we're dead. Bummer. This deck feels like one that we're supposed to be able to grind out, but Monastery Mentor coming back into the format, this is the metagame at work. If they were just trying to win with Ragavans and Murktide regions, we would have had control of this game. But because they had Monastery Mentor, that can immediately go so wide, and nobody's really playing sweepers right now because you don't need to. Yeah, it might be a Monastery Mentor renaissance at play here. We're super dead in the tournament at this point. I will keep playing, though. Keep trying to get reps in with this deck, see what it's capable of, learn more. Like I said, I have more of this deck in the queue, so getting some reps now will help for future videos. Let's keep going. We're a few rounds into the video. Thanks for sticking with me. Friendly reminder that if you're still here and having fun, smash that subscribe button. And if you want to play what I'm playing, you can use my affiliate link for TCG Player to support the channel while you shop for cards, and you can try any deck anytime with a cardhoarder.com loan account for Magic Online. All these links are in the video description below. Now back to the league. On the draw in round 5 against an opponent whose last posted legacy finish was when Mental Misstep was legal. So, no information. I'm going to keep this hand. It doesn't have white or black mana to go with my white or black spell, but It does do stuff. I can Zenith for bird. I have Brainstorm. Like, let's do it. Ponder is a great pickup here. Yes, I would love to cast Ponder. Abundant Growth is good here. That fixes my colors. So if I spend a turn Abundant Growthing, and then I draw Abundant Growth for Ponder, Ice Fang Coatl for turn, I draw Uro for my next turn, then I'm looking at all fresh cards for Brainstorm, and I have all my colors set up. I actually think this is fine. But I'm going to put Coatl in my hand, not the Abundant Growth, just in case they are a Thoughtseize deck of some variety. Which I doubt. Snow-Covered Island doesn't usually play Thoughtseize. But anything could happen. This is Legacy. They are a deck with Prismatic Vista. So this could be a blue-white control deck. Oh, it's a Stoneforge Mystic deck. The Mental Misstep deck that they posted all those years ago was also a Stoneforge Mystic deck, so maybe we did have some information. I'm actually not in a good position to fight this thing. I guess I can Prismatic Ending the Cauldron Germ. I just have to take 5 along the way. I'm not ready to Force a Will this card. Hope they're not a Wasteland deck. Okay, I can Abundant Growth here, and I can Zenith for Arbor. I think that makes sense at this point. Developing my board is pretty important. I'm starting to get choked on mana, and this Cauldron makes the amount of time that I have to figure it out a lot shorter. Yep, here comes the jerk, the Cauldron. I go to 15. Please don't have Wasteland. All right, they had no land. That means that all 6 cards in the hand are spells. You can bet on at least one of them being a removal spell. Or a counter spell. I don't care if they have a removal spell. I'm going to start with Brainstorm. Okay, I found a white source. Does that mean, like, should I play around Daze? I guess is the last remaining question here. I can put back Grist and land, then play land, and then Uro. Yeah, I'm just going to develop my board as much as I can. Here's Uro, draws the land, plays the land. Uro dies. I fetch Savannah, because that's the land that can cast both Uro and Prismatic Ending. And Tundra does too. Does that matter? I have a lot of green. I have a lot of blue. I'm not convinced it matters. Alright, I'll just get Tundra. And Prismatic Ending, I have Force of Will backup. Didn't need it, it seems. That's scary. So they have 6 cards in their hand that aren't Force of Will. I should expect True Name Nemesis, I guess, in the near future. Or as soon as they find their land drop, a bunch more Planeswalkers. I released a video recently where I played Stoneforge Mystic, and this is why Stoneforge Mystic isn't that good anymore. Like, you used to be able to just go to Pound Town with a turn 2 Stoneforge Mystic, but that's really not the case currently. Like, they did everything they wanted to do. I took 5 and then removed the thing, and now Uro is here ready to party. I think I want to start developing my basic lands. This Ice and Coatl in my hand probably wants Death Touch at some point. So green, green, blue, blue. Rise and grind. Great Uro time. Found the Grist again. The one of Grist that I shuffled away in my 80 card deck has returned. No problem. I can Coatl this turn, or I can plow this turn. What I'm thinking about right now is, what could this Stoneforge Mystic do? Because it could have attacked last turn. Could have got in for 1, and it didn't. So Batterskull, Sword of Fire and Ice, and Jite are all on the menu. Sword of Fire and Ice is the one I'm worried the most about. But I do have Plow with Force backup, and they need their 3rd land drop before they can equip it. I have a bigger creature than Batterskull already in play. Just having the big creature is so important against these equipment decks. Yep, Batterskull it is. I'll block. Because if that was Jite, they spend 2 mana to put Jite into play. They spend 2 mana to equip it. Alright. Let's see how this is going. This is worth a Force of Will to me. Cool. Got there. So my Jite point, I was starting to say, they spend 2 mana to equip Jite. They spend 2 mana to put it into play. They attack. All of that gets them into a position where they get to fight over Swords to Plowshares. And even if they win that fight, Uro just blocks their creature. and then they don't have it anymore. And they get to like remove a Jitte counter to kill Dryad Arbor, and now they have to find another creature, spend 2 mana to re-equip. It's a bad scene all around for that player. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1 mana short of Zenith for Primetime, which I haven't been able to do yet this league, and I'm pretty excited to try it. I'm definitely turning Uro sideways. Like on the race scale of Uro versus Batterskull, they take 6 and then they gain 4, so they take 2. I take 4, but I gain 3, so I take 1, and I draw a card. Like, they're taking more damage than me, and I'm drawing cards along the way. It's really not even close to reasonable. I think it's time to just... Well, I have some choices. I can Zenith for Knight and just plunk the Batterskull. Or I could elbow tap. I'm swinging for the fences here. I want it to be Primetime. They haven't indicated they have a counterspell yet this game. Guess they could have Force of Negation. They didn't have a good spot to cast that yet. But any other counterspell they had targets for. Okay, yep, Force of Negation confirmed. And because Uro, because of like the racing I just mentioned, like I don't even care that I'm about to get crunched by Batterskull. They're taking more damage than me, and I'm up a card on the exchange. With Stoneforge in the mix, we're taking the same amount of damage, actually. Another one. Do they have a main deck Sophie? Nope, it's Jitte time. Oh, my favorite card. Red, blue. Let's go nuts. I don't have black mana right now, so I'm going to put Leovold in hand, Uro on the bottom, and exile Zenith. I'll deal with that later. I guess if I pre-combat my Zenith, they can't block with Batterskull. Let's see if they block with Batterskull anyway. Jump with Stoneforge. Deal. Nope. Reconsider. All right. No deal. Okay. Now I Zenith. I'm going to leave up white for Swords to Plowshares. Zenith for 3. Get the Knight. Kill the Batterskull. Oh, they did have a Force of Will too. Exciting. Pitching to Fairy. Okay. So they were slow rolling some forces, which is kind of interesting. Like, they took these aggressive postures with their Kaldra and Batterskull, but then didn't use their forces to try to push that tempo. And now we're in a mid-game situation where I don't even mind getting forced. All right, True Name. If I didn't have Plague Engineer, that would actually be pretty good, but I do. So, sorry. And I can hardcast Plague Engineer with... Oh, you always hardcast Plague Engineer. I can cast Plague Engineer with hardcast Force of Negation on the backup. Here we go. And they have 2 cards left in hand. Please force me again. Do they have more than one Rogue? Or do they have more than one Merfolk? They said in the chat, that's just rude. It's true. Surprise. Off of my no black mana base. The dirtiest ambush. To be fair, I did draw all 3 of the black cards in my deck without a swamp. Thanks, Abundant Growth. Is there a target for Prismatic Ending? Like, removing the Germ token from play, I mean, that'll speed the game up. Do I even care? I guess I can take that action at least. Because Uro will close the game very quickly from here. They don't have enough mana to pick up and redeploy Batterskull in one turn cycle. That's a multi-turn line. If they have a land drop, they can put in Jitte. All right, I'm going to hardcast Force on this Swords to Plowshares. Blue, blue, blue. Yeah, I don't know if they drew those 2 forces after I already answered Kaldra, but if that was in the hand when they went for Kaldra, I think it should have been used to protect it and try to cheese. I'll drop this Wasteland into play. Set up a double block. I think I do want to plow the Stoneforge. Because if the last card in their hand is True Name Nemesis, that actually weirdly stabilizes. I mean, if it can pick up a weapon, I'm still easily winning the race. Black, blue, green, and I'm going to save Ketria Triumph to cycle. But they backed it up. Okay, that was a pretty good study of this bigger, crazy Yorion mid-range deck just absolutely handling a normal mid-range blue deck. Stoneforge Mystic is no Monastery Mentor, that's for sure. Plague Engineer, Collector Oof. I suspect this deck will have Back to Basics in it. Seeds of Innocence can't destroy Cauldron. It can destroy everything else, though. I don't think I need Seeds on top of these forces and everything. I'm not even sure if I need both forces. If I can keep the creatures under control, I don't really care about the weapons. But the forces having splash damage against something like Back to Basics or Rest in Peace, which either could be in their deck, I do like that. A Force of Negation and Force of Will get skinnier on those. The one of Loam is great. Grist is good. Man, all my cards are just good. Not even fair. I probably want the Rebs in this deck too. I'm cutting one of the Force of Vigors. I'm off it. I don't think I'm going to need two of those. And Red Elemental Blast doubles up against Back to Basics. So there's multiple interchanging pieces here. They showed me Snapcaster Mage, so Endurance is good. I don't think I want the second, but I do like the first. Do I just go 0 Force? Fuck it. Just beat him on board. I think that's a reasonable position to take. I could shave a Wasteland too. And going down land count kind of is risky in a control mirror. But I have one more land than the stock list in here anyway, and I don't think Wasteland is going to find many targets. Okay, I'm going to try it like this. There's a lot of different ways you could go with this sideboard. I'm going to keep. I have the nuts, which is turn 1 Birds of Paradise. I don't like the Dried Arbors in my hand, but this hand is so tasty otherwise. I'll make it work. They shuffled their Ponder. I found the land. Sign me up. Basic Forest, Birds of Paradise. And I'm going to get Snow-Covered Forest. Prioritize that, because this is an attacking matchup where Ice Fang Coatl having Death Touch might matter. I hope their hand has Back to Basics in it, and this start is just like, what the fuck? There's the Stoneforge. Let's see if we settle into a, like, sort of Fire and Ice kind of game, or if they do just go straight Cauldron again. Went for Batterskull, which doesn't mean they don't have Cauldron. Let's keep that in mind. Just means they tutored up Batterskull first. I'm going to fetch basic Plains and put Abundant Growth on it. I'm getting the Plains because the Plains is the worst one. And if I Abundant Growth my island and then just have Plains in play later, I could get stuck on a situation where I can't cast Uro. I got choices. I can Ponder. I can hold up Coatl. If I Ponder, I'm holding up Pyroblast. I could Ponder twice. I could cast Loam. Loam, I would pass the turn with 7 cards in hand ready to hit all my land drops. I think I'd rather Ponder. So, what do I need Pyroblast for? I guess we saw Teferi last game. Okay, I'll Ponder now. Grist, Coatl, Wasteland. I don't actually want any of this. Shuffle it. Get rid of it. Zenith, that's what I'm looking for. They like Swords to Plowshares my bird. That's bad news. I am going to take this opportunity. This Brainstorm might be looking for the land drop to activate Stoneforge Mystic. Or not. I was just happy to get a target for Pyroblast while I had mana sitting up. Like in control mirrors, usually the person who spends the most mana ends up winning. And that was an opportunity to get a good exchange on that front. I think it's a good opportunity to Life from the Loam. I can still Coatl or Ponder or whatever. I'll play the land that can fetch basic island, and I'm just holding up Coatl here, which can jump in front of the Batterskull, which is going to come into play this turn. And I have no problem with a Ice Fang Coatl getting Swords to Plowshared. In fact, I'm a big fan of that. Another Stoneforge. All right. Let it come. Here we go. There's the Cauldron. Oh, if they have land, they can get in with that too this turn. That's strong. I can't do anything about that. Good stuff. So Cauldron's coming in this turn. If they have Force of Will for my Coatl, I'm taking a pretty large chunk here. If they don't, I'll trade with Batterskull. Right, it's in there. It's got the touch. I'm not going to Dredge Loam. I need spells here. Block Batterskull. I go to 12. They are 1 mana away from re-equipping Batterskull to the Cauldron. Pretty scary. Abundant Growth. Okay. Zenith. I can Zenith for up to 4 right now. What do we got? Grist doesn't work. Leovold doesn't work. Knight doesn't work. I could just get Uro into the graveyard. I think with the Ponders and Abundant Growths, I can do better than just firing off a Zenith. If I just find Swords to Plowshares or Prismatic Ending, I got a lot of looks at those things. Oh, Brainstorm's great, as usual. Get rid of all these shitter lands. Put Arbor back into the deck. And Bulk back into the deck. Fetch. And get another basic forest. Because I'm going to Abundant Growth that. So I should tap Bird. Why am I saving Bird for last? That's the one that can get collapsed by a removal spell. Abundant Growth. Ponder. Come on, white card. And from the top row, Swords to Plowshares on the Germ token. Did they have a Force Will at the end of the road the whole time? They did not. Okay. That was a fun turn. Storm is literally 5. Empty the Warrens is lethal at this point. Land can just equip Batterskull, but Grist can incinerate the Stoneforge that gets equipped, and then Grist, sack my bird, and jam Oof, and then we're pretty stable. But we are at 5. Okay. Black. In this time, I don't want to tap Bird first, because in case this gets countered, Bird can block. So, black, green, colorless, Grist. Land for turn, green, colorless, Oof. Sack a creature. I can fetch Dryad Arbor and sack that. Yeah, I think I'd rather have Bird in play than Dryad Arbor. And 4 life isn't very different than 5. Dryad Arbor minus Grist. Sack this to kill this. And now they can't pick up Batterskull. They can't re-equip Batterskull. Oof is bigger than Stoneforge. Heads up. Even if they have Sword of Fire and Ice, they can't cast it. Swords to Plowshares. If they have land plow, then I'm actually at 1 again. Okay, ending is not plow. So they can't re-equip this turn. And they get to clear Grist with the Stoneforge. That was actually a really big turn. Ooh, they didn't do it though. Interesting. Do they have another equipment to put in? Why wouldn't they make the move? Okay, Swords to Plowshares, happy to see that. Plus Grist. Oh no! I told you, remember in the previous round when I was like, yeah, I'm not going to plus Grist because I will mill it? My plan was to stabilize this turn, then Zenith for primetime next turn, and obviously just the 1 out of 55 cards spiked it, the 1.5% or whatever that is. Okay, whatever. Green, Ramunap Excavator. Play Dryad Arbor from the graveyard, putting more creatures onto the board. I'm holding up Swords to Plowshares. I don't get to Zenith this turn, and my favorite Zenith target just hit the bin. They picked up Batterskull. I'm going to plow Stoneforge in response. Okay, that's gone. Now they don't have any creatures to equip Cauldron to right away. They can cast Batterskull, but that's a slow grind. I do need to start worrying about any creature picking up this Cauldron for 7, equip 7. I might Zenith for Uro this turn, just get my life total out of 1 hit range. Ponder. Yorion is an Ancestral Recall on this board too. I have so many Abundant Growths. Can't believe I milled my fucking prime time. I was so ready. It was time to go prime. Okay, they're back up to 5 mana. They found their 7th land drop. They can cast Batterskull this turn, equip Cauldron to that Germ next turn. So I can't pass the turn with this Germ still in play. Not Dredging Loam. Okay, I can minus Grist in full safety mode. Sacking Dryad Arbor. Okay, I'm going to tap Dryad Arbor and then Zenith for 3. Right, if I Uro this turn, is that better or worse? Like, is having Grist in play? No, I want Uro in the mix here. Okay, done. X is 3. I could get the Knight, kill Batterskull, then they don't have a Germ. Batterskull's out of the mix. But I think I'd rather be Uroing. Here's Uro. Trigger. Don't Dredge Loam. Put a land into play. Found another Uro, that's fun. Then make my land drop for the turn. Minus Grist. Grist dies, but that's okay. Blow up the Germ. Basically any lands cast my spells here. because of all of the abundant growths. I'm out of basics, so I just need things that tap for things. Green, green, blue, blue. Uro is in play and on the stack. My life total is above 5, so I don't need to worry about a surprise Cauldron hit. Now I'm pushing damage again. All right, let's go. Let's go. Got to get them down from 27 in 8 minutes. Allowing Uro's fine. I got the backup in hand. That also gets me well out of attacking range. True Name Nemesis is the card I'm worried about at this point. And they just tap 3 mana. Okay, I don't care about Back to Basics. I honestly don't. It's like kind of good, but also whatever. Not Dredging Loam. Never Dredging Loam again. Right, Zenith, 1, 2, 3. Right, this Zenith can kill the Back to Basics with Knight for target artifact or enchantment. The Back to Basics, put it away. And attack for 3. They picked up Batterskull in response. Okay. I just realized with this attack that I didn't play around Snapcaster Mage picking up Cauldron, but my life total is so high that it doesn't matter. I think I'm just going to put Yorion in my hand this turn. I have my land drop from Ramanap, Savannah, and wish for this Yorion. Yorion has multiple blank targets. It has the Ancestral Recall off of the Abundant Growths, and then the Knight of Autumn can destroy Batterskull. Let's tutor up Jitte. So their hand is Jitte, Batterskull, Mystery card. What do I got to do here? I'm going to make my land drop, and it's going to be Dryad Arbor. And then I just attack with my Excavator. Got to keep him excavated. Then Uro. There he is. Grind, grind, grind. That's cheating. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1 mana short of Yorion, but if I don't have to Yorion, I won't. Exile the Stoneforge, and then pass, I guess. That probably could have been done smoother. Willing to believe it. Right, there's Batterskull. They have the 3 mana to pick it back up if Yorion flickers. Knight. Wasteland, cool. Waste you. Guess I should have played a land from the graveyard first. Then Uro could have put this land into play. I'm just playing tight here. I'm exiling most of the lands from my graveyard because I don't think that they matter. Like, I have Ramanap and Loam running, and so many lands in play. The only consideration for my graveyard is, like, leaving some number of lands in there for those 2 cards, and leaving good cards in there if I have to endurance myself at some point to make this game last longer. But I hope it doesn't come to that. Okay, let's hope their last mystery card in hand isn't a counterspell. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yorion. Oh god, they're fetching. Just picking up their Batterskull in response, or do they have the Pyroblast? Oh no, they have the Pyroblast. They did it. They did it, Jeffrey. Okay, so I'm going to take a giant hit from a lifelinky Germ token. They can choose to put Jitte on this or equip Cauldron to it. Yeah, they're just elbow tapping for Cauldron. I'm just going to take 9. And then I gotta dig for an answer, which I play a large number of. I'm actually not super worried about it. Brainstorm. Found 2 Zeniths. That's good, probably. What is left in the deck to Zenith for? Really wish I had a Primeval Titan. Oh, I do have a Primeval Titan. Hold on, hold on. Cancel. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I think that's enough. Green, green. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yes. Cast this. Endurance myself. Zenith. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Big old Prime Daddy. Right now it's a click fest. I am a little worried having 4 minutes left on my clock and their life total so high. Primeval Titan. Yes, use the ability. Get Field of the Dead. And I think just some fetch land. You can attack with Uro to gain 3 life. They can equip Jitte to their giant Voltron next turn. Yeah, I think I do need to draw the card here and gain the life. Opponent said the deck is so beautiful. I agree. It's a sweet one. Wrist doesn't help. All right, now I got to F6. I got 3 minutes to figure this out. Even if I stabilize, like, I could just die very quickly to my clock. Got to figure out what I'm blocking with. Probably nothing. Okay. Yeah, I'm just going to let this connect. Like, I'm going to win this game or I'm not, based on my ability to remove this card from play. Need a Plow or a Prismatic Ending. Yorion's in my deck somewhere. Okay, Ponder first. Expressive Iteration, X2. Do not shuffle this. Don't you dare. Blue, red. Put Iteration in hand. Bottom, exile. Gonna iterate again. Red, blue. Come on, white cards. Zenith in hand. Quaddle on the bottom. Abundant Growth in exile. Cast Abundant Growth on this using this. Wow. This is going very poorly. 1, 2, 3, 4. Zenith for Uro. Oh wait, there's an Uro in my graveyard already. 1, 2, 3, 4. But not enough cards. Oh, if I fetch, I can do it. Hold on. Fetch. At 2. Blue land. Wait, why do I have 2 colorless floating? Oh, because I'm an idiot. Blue. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Come on, white cards. Where are you? I need you now. This is the time to show up. Wasteland into play. Another zombie. Burrows in play. Believe I have 1 fetchable land left. Oh, I have 2. Ketria Triome. Not what I'm looking for, at least not this turn. Yikes. Might as well waste their red source. I am actually going to have to figure out blocks this turn. I can attack with Prime Time. They gain a bunch of life, but I get 2 more zombies. Caracas and Volcanic Island come into play, please. Okay, so I just have to, like, pile block. Yeah, they're at so much life. I don't think I can win this game in the time. I think I'm actually ahead, and I think it's kind of by a lot. I guess maybe it's not by a lot, but I think I am ahead here. It bounced Uro. That stinks. This is an 11-11. So I have to absorb 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Okay. That's the minimum block. That keeps me alive. Oh, they had 3 counters on Jitte, not 2, because I attacked. I'm actually just dead. I miscounted. I was playing fast. Yeah, I forgot they get Jitte counters when they block also. All right. Little punt at the end there, but it was because we were running out of time. I wasn't going to be able to deal 72 damage in a turn cycle anyway. So let's see what this would have looked like. I draw for turn. Uro. There's the Prismatic Ending. Second half of Uro, another Prismatic Ending. Yeah, we're winning this game. If in paper Magic, we win this game. But welcome to Magic Online. We're on the draw in round 6. And I'm going to keep this hand. Got the 1 of Loam. We're going to hit land drops. I like that. I think I want to just Zenith for Arbor right away. To start amassing my resources. I have this Uro in my hand. Turn 2 Uro is pretty strong. I didn't look up my opponent because when you're 1 and 4, there's diminishing returns on how to use your time. Let's play this one straight up. No peeking. Okay, we got Verdant Catacombs Urza Saga. Is this another Golgari Depths matchup? And if it is, this is a great time to point a Wasteland at something. No, I should Uro into the Wasteland. What am I saying? Almost. Didn't do that right. I think I want Tundra here. Because I don't have a white source, and any land that makes blue gets the job done here. Go get him, Uro. Another Wasteland. That's good stuff. I'm going to waste on their upkeep. Or if they fetch. Yeah, I'm going to waste Urza Saga on the upkeep. This was to play around crop rotation, because I have Force of Negation that can hit it. Or I could just make them crop rotate now. Oh, they're lands. All right, I'm not gonna Force a Negation or crop rotation here. If they're a Light from the Loam deck, this is not the spot. Yeah, I should have thought of that. It's much more likely that they're lands than Oh, that's sick. Because it came in their upkeep, it still gets the same trigger at the same time in their main phase. So sick. I like that play a lot. Still gonna waste it, but I respect it. Oh, another Uro. Yeah, I don't have room to do that this turn. Let's Wasteland right now. Crop rotating again. Okay. Please don't have Bojuka Bog. A third Saga. Okay. They are committed to making this happen. I'm committed to not letting it. Okay, Life from the Loam, pick up my 2 Wastelands. Get to attack for 1 here. And then next turn I can Uro into Wasteland. They do get a construct on the way through. Got your own Wasteland. I don't think they want to waste the Uro player. Do I want to Dredge Loam? Yeah, probably. I'll Dredge Loam. And then I guess I could actually play Uro face up. I could fetch a blue source. Oh no, I'm 1 short. Never mind. I have to do the one from the hand. Uro. Trigger. Put in Wasteland. Uro dies. Play my land for turn, which is Wasteland. I'm going to waste their Saga right now. They have the 3rd crop rotation. Go nuts. That's handled. I'm going to waste their... Taiga versus Grove is interesting, because Grove gains me life. That doesn't matter, though. Grove rebuys Punishing Fire, which I'm much more worried about. And I'm still holding up Force of Negation for an inevitable Loam. I want to be the Loam deck around here. Oh yeah, there it is. Force of Negation. I think the 3rd Uro is better than the 1st Expressive Iteration. So I'm going to pitch EI and just be on Team Uro here. Bojuka Bog here is still pretty rough. It hits 2 Uros and 2 Wastelands when I'm loaming. But if they do that, then I'll just play Plague Engineer on Construct. Mox Diamond discarding Wasteland. Right, that makes their construct bigger. Sounds good. Fetch for any blue source here. See if they bog me in response. They did not. Grab a Tropical Island. Green, green, blue, blue. I'm leaving the 2 Wastelands in the graveyard. And the backup Uro. So now they have to answer the Uro in my hand, and the Uro in play, and the Uro in my graveyard if they don't want to play an Uro game. And Caracas is pretty effective at doing those 3 things. Valakut Exploration. Just have Knight in my hand. No sweat. Right, now it's go time. We should be able to absolutely decimate the opponent from here. Life from the Loam, picking up these 2 Wastelands. To play one of them as my land for turn. To attack with Uro. Put the other one in for Uro. I am going to Dredge Loam. I should be able to lock them out from here pretty quickly. White, green, colorless. Destroy. I actually want to destroy Mox Diamond. And then lock them out of mana, and then I don't care about Valakut Exploration. But they conceded to that. Didn't even wait for me to target anything. That was handily handled. Okay, Force of Vigor is good against lands. Seeds of Innocence. Endurance. Hydroblast. For Valakut Exploration. Red Blast. Punishing Fire. Those sort of things. Seeds and Force all clean up Saga business. And then Force also gets Choke if they have that. Valakut Exploration, regular Exploration, all of the above. I love my Force of Negations. Force of Will is medium minus. Prismatic Ending's good. Deck's pretty good at not losing to Merit Lage, so I'm gonna go pretty skinny on Swords of Plowshares. Maybe I want Collector Roof in this deck. Is that better than a Swords to Plowshares? Because I have 0 artifacts, literally 0. It's pretty rare for a Magic deck. Legacy deck. That's pretty cool. Like, not even Engineered Explosives or like some random thing. 2 Forces, 1 Plow. I could go 2 Plows, 1 Force, but I do like the idea of Force to protect myself from crop rotation blowouts. And I mean, the Force plays into Red Blast, but Force also protects me from Choke and that sort of shit. Yeah, this is what I'm gonna do. This hand is reasonable. I'm gonna keep it. I can fetch at least 1 basic land, and I can answer multiple problem permanents early. Like if they go Mox Diamond Exploration, I can just 2 for 2 them with Force of Vigor. 2 for 3 if you count the card they discard to Mox Diamond. If they lead on a Sphere, if they go like Mox Diamond Sphere of Resistance, I can kill those two things next turn. What I'm saying is I got options. Oh, that's a good card to hit with Force of Vigor. Ponder. Do like Ponder. Can't play it off of basic, but my red mana is not super important to this matchup. And if they wasteland me here, then they don't get to make constructs. Ever. Okay, I like this. That hits my land drop, gets 2 basics set up. I get basic forest, basic island ready here. And I can pitch Coatl to Force of Vigor and still have Coatl next turn. They have found Ancient Tomb. So they can get full value out of this Urza Saga. I can undo some amount of that work. The Force of Vigor can kill the construct and whatever they tutor up. And this start has no colored mana and cost them a bunch of life to develop. Oh, they might get Pithing Needle here. But that's fine. If I can trick them into getting Pithing Needle by hanging my fetch land out over Mox Diamond or something that makes mana, I'm okay with that. This is a great Seeds of Innocence game. They have a Taiga for their turn and attack for 3. I think I want to just put my dude in front of this and block. If this is worth a Pyroblast to them, you got a deal. I need a green source. I don't think I can actually afford to play on basic lands here. Green, blue. Might as well chump block because this is never getting Death Touch. Chumpo. Exploration. Do you have more lands? Yavimaya. I actually like Yavimaya. This is a lot of lands here. I think I want to sit on Caracas. I can fetch a different white source, but I should probably save the fetch for a cantrip. I'm going to Prismatic Ending Expedition map before they can activate it. And I'm going to try really hard to get into my next turn and hardcast Force of Vigor. Like going 2 for 2 on that card versus going 2 for 1 on it is a lot different. I'd rather be on the 2 for 1 side. And I can pitch Dryad Arbor to Force of Vigor. That's probably the best use of Dryad Arbor this game. Loam targeting Saga. Okay. That's disappointing. I can Coatl for this. Draw. Another Coatl. I can block. And then when they play the Saga this turn, I can Force of Vigor, Saga, and second Construct. And then that kills the first Construct also. Yeah, as much as I wanted to, but they have Loam over there, so this is a stopgap. Is it a good stopgap? I don't know. I'm going to go for it. Hit Urza Saga and the big construct. Pitch Dryad Arbor. It kills all their things. I'm still way behind here. Loam is nice, but without Uro, it's not really doing a lot. I'll get Coatl in right now, see if I can draw some action. Always happy to see a Ponder. Yeah, I'd rather Ponder this turn than do anything else. Okay, yes. Endurance. I lose my Loam if I Endurance here. And Caracas doesn't have for blue, so I can't Brainstorm into the bird. I feel like hitting this graveyard with Loam and Saga in it would be really strong. But I lose my Loam. Alright, I am prepared to live a cursed life. A Loamless cursed life here. Yeah, my concern with that line I took last turn was the fact they could just Loam again, but now the Loam and the Saga are gone. Play Dark Depths and pass the turn. Caracas, keep working, buddy. I know Birds of Paradise is on top. This might be a turn where I just put Yorion in hand. Coatl can block Merit Lage if it has to, and I have Caracas anyway. I'm just trying to think of worst case scenario. If they like crop rotation into Wasteland, waste my Caracas, then also crop rotation into Thespian Stage, that would have got me. Now I need to find some Wastelands and shit. Gotta get this Dark Depths under control before it's too late. There's no Wastelands in my graveyard, so I can't get Ramanap Excavator. I don't want Birds of Paradise anymore. I'm sure of that. Then Zenith for 3 can get... I could just get Uro, get to work with that. I could also get Leovold, and then like any sort of Wasteland or Punishing Fire sort of stuff is really bad for them. I think it's Uro though. Zenith for 3. Let's take a look at the options one more time. Yeah, it's Uro. Finding Force of Will is pretty nice there. I don't want to pick up my own Uro with Karakas there, even though I could, because this Dark Depths is just right there in play. They are going into the Field of the Dead this turn, if they have a land drop. But they only played one land on their last couple turns, which, with Exploration... Oh, you fucker. God, Red Blast is such a blowout here. Alright. You can Endurance me. I'm not going to spend my Force of Will into a Red Blast like this. I can just cast Yorion next turn. That also gets Red Blasted. I don't know. If I had something other than Yorion to pitch... Oh, I forgot to fetch away the shitty-ass bird. Damn it. Yeah, I forgot that my... Wait, Zenith did resolve last turn. I didn't know that bird was there. I take it back. I didn't punt it. It was just a Moto Bug. They did have Red Blast. So I feel pretty justified in my no force last turn. I'm going to plow this Endurance. I guess I should have done that pre-combat and attacked. But since we're bleeding value anyway, let's just miss a damage. No land drop again. Their hand is 3 spells. Oh my god. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Is your spell good against this? They still lose to crop rotation. Well, they would need 2 things. Like, if they have crop rotation here, they could make the Merit Lage. Is it possible that I wait a turn and do it with Karakas still up? Yeah, damn it. I hate being disciplined and doing things right. Right, if I play Bird this turn, I have a blocker for Merit Lage and can leave up Karakas next turn on the prime time. Yeah, they're just starting to slow thaw the Dark Depths by tapping mana. Deal. And I'm holding up Force of Will this turn if they do have a spell. And I'll be in the Field of the Dead with them next turn. Okay, we know that was their draw for the turn. We know they have 3 spells in their hand. Seeds, okay, that'll be good someday. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's time. Who's the lands deck now? I'm gonna get Field and Wasteland. Let's go. I am a more competent zombie deck. If they try to Merit Lage this turn, they need to get through Coatl and Karakas to do it. Okay, they're just still slow thawing. If Primetime gets to attack once, we just go, straight to the hoop with that. Just getting a million more zombies and amassing resources, so like any sort of wasteland shenanigans won't matter anymore after that. Though, if they do waste my Field of the Dead here, my Loam is gone. I had to pitch it to that Endurance on turn 3 or whatever. And I have one... Oh, they Enduranced me, so both of my Endurances are still in the deck. If they Wasteland me and get my Field, I would have to Endurance myself and then redraw a Field or tutor up Field at some point. Okay, they decided that mana is worth more than a zombie. Interesting. Maybe that's right. I'm not saying they're wrong. I'm just saying it's interesting. All right, Grist, dope. And now we go into attack mode. All right, they're just conceding to my combat step. That was pretty powerful. I definitely understand where this deck lines up with the metagame, because after Delver, lands is in the top 3, and we did just sort of shit murder lands twice. That felt pretty good. All right, we're on the board. I think there's 1 round left. I honestly lost count, but let's go. Well, folks, it's round 7, and I was the last place player who hadn't dropped yet, so I got the bye automatically. Thanks to all these people. We don't get 1 more round. Let's just get into the debrief. This tournament, so this deck, it's clear what its power level is and where it shines, like what it's really good against. Like, nobody's going to outgrind you, except maybe the Moto Clock. As far as games played went, the Golgari Depths matchup in round 1, I think that matchup is probably favored overall. We just have so much interaction, including for Wasteland 4 Plow, Karakas, a bunch of blockers that can buy time. We have Uro to gain life. Just, we have a lot of ways to deal with Merit Lage. I don't know. I mean, my opponent did play well. They didn't spew off into just obvious removal. They took their time, they sculpted their plays, and they picked their spots, and they played well. I think we also ran a little bad. We drew a lot of lands, not a lot of cantrips, etc. That was tough. But I think that matchup is probably favorable overall. The blue mentor deck, I think that matchup's probably actually unfavorable. Because of Monastery Mentor, they don't need to outgrind you. They just need to like get to 5 mana, cast 2 cantrips, and hold up Force Will for a turn. And this deck doesn't really come back from Monastery Mentor Snowball very well. You basically have Plague Engineer to kill the Monk tokens temporarily, and that's about it. The red splash came in clutch against Show and Tell. That was really nice. I was surprised how much game we had against Show and Tell, because that seems like a bad matchup on paper. In general, it seems like combo is where this deck's going to struggle, but you do have the pieces, but you don't always have time to find the pieces. But we did string it together, and Red Blast was a part of that equation. That Stoneblade matchup, heartbreaker. Like, we won that match in real life, or with 2 more minutes on the clock. Maybe more than 2 minutes. Like, their life total was in the 90s at the end of that. Like, that was just Moto Clock. We had them beat on actual cards, and I'm not saying they don't deserve their win. The Moto Clock's part of the game. I'm just saying, like, you know, if you're only counting actual gameplay and how this deck is going to stack up in your local metagame if you choose to play it in paper, like, that was a win. Crushed lands. That felt really good. Like, not particularly competitive at any point. Just really buried them. The Primeval Titan came in clutch. I love that Primeval Titan. That's my favorite card in this whole deck. We didn't get paired against Delver at all. We didn't get to see what that looks like. Ice Fang Quaddle probably important there. Endurance, Leovold, Uro. Like, I'm just naming cards in the deck. But we didn't get to showcase that matchup. But I think we saw a lot of what this deck's capable of. I will bring up the usual concern of a deck like this is the clock. Like, we did time out in a game we were going to win in this tournament. In real life, if you're going to play a deck like this, you need to know all your lines, you need to execute them quickly, and you need to not be shy about telling your opponent to up their pace of play if they're dragging, because this deck will take rounds to time. And this is the type of deck where if you lose game 1, you're probably not going to be able to win the match. You're playing for a draw if you lose game 1 in a lot of matchups. Like, I think that is a true statement, having played this sort of thing before. And that does worry me. The deck is very powerful, though. It does a lot of the things that I like Legacy decks to do, which is draw cards and have a variety of answers to things. The Yorion was pretty great. It only came up a few times, but it drew a bunch of cards those times, or sucked out a counterspell once. That played well. The red splash was completely reasonable. Abundant Growth did a lot of heavy lifting in this league, but even when we had to fetch Ketria Triumph or Volcanic Island, I don't think I ever had Expressive Iteration in my hand that I couldn't cast. At least not when it mattered. Like, you don't cast it on turn 2 anyway, but by the time I like sculpted into turn 4 where you actually want to cast that card, I usually had the mana. Birds of Paradise, MVP. That fun of one of Birds of Paradise. I Zenith for that thing a lot. I had it in my opening hand more than once, which is pretty absurd in my 80 card deck with that one of. But Birds of Paradise, great card. I think every single card in the deck had a time to shine in this league. Like, we did go off with Field of the Dead. We Zenith for Dryad Arbor. Coatls did what they were going to do. Expressive Iteration came up multiple times. Loam came up multiple times. Library. Force Negation came up specifically against Loam. Plague Engineer came up against True Name Nemesis. Rammed Excavator came up a couple times. I Endurance to my Loam opponent so they couldn't Loam anymore. I Endurance to myself so I could Zenith for primetime. Endurance came in clutch. I think Leovold's really the only card that didn't run away with a game. I only cast it once and it got a 2-for-1. But yeah. Oh, I also Zenith for 3 once and my opponent forced it. So Leovold got a 2-for-1 there too, if we count that. Every card came up. Every card did work. And this deck does seem pretty sweet. The Red Splash, if you want to do it, felt pretty close to free. What you lose on the Red Splash is whatever cards you'd play instead. It's not really about whether or not you can cast them. It's about, you know, what would you do with those deck slots otherwise. There might be a world where this deck just wants 4 Expressive Iteration and get rid of Sylvan Library, because Library is a pretty bad top deck, but Iteration's an insane top deck, and you're an 80 card deck. I guess the number of times I had turn 2 Sylvan Library is also pretty high in this 80 card deck. But even like turn 3, turn 4, Sylvan Library is a lot worse than turn 2, but Expressive Iteration just gets better as the game goes longer. So that might be something to consider if you're really working on this deck and want to lean harder into 5 colors. 1 felt like exactly the right number of loam. I had it when I wanted it, didn't have it when I didn't want it. I had to pitch it to Endurance once, that hurt a little, but it was worth doing. It hurt them more than it hurt me. And Ramunap Excavator's still in the deck if you need to do land graveyard stuff later. This is a really well-constructed package, and I like it. I'm going to wrap it up there. Spunky, thank you for asking me to play this. Taking it through the tournament was fun. I don't usually play these Sunday tournaments because they take a lot of time to record. They suck up the whole day, but it was fun to do it once in a while. I hope the Red Splash performed to your expectations. It actually overperformed my expectations. And I hope to be able to do this once in a while in the future. Thank you all for watching. Sorry we didn't win the tournament, but I hope there was a lot of good, instructive gameplay along the way and lessons learned for the next one. Like I said, I have the non-Red Splash version of this deck coming down the pipeline 2 more times over the next month and a half or so. So stick around, subscribe if you want to see those, and subscribe anyway. Like the video, comment below, and thank you all for watching. I'll see you next time.